The music probably is a lot quieter now. we have bedtime stories today. Also, bug, 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 bug. Hello, Angie. Hello, Zombiezi. Hello, Missile. I've got bedtime stories. Bedtime stories for chat. Ah, that is still loud. Theoretically, we've got the good filters on. If someone redeems purrs, I have hotkeys to fix that. Don't mind the fact that my beans are missing. My human transformation was a little weird today. Got a weird lighting setup right now. Also, hello B1 Howdy. How you doing? Did I tell Twitter that I was live? No, I didn't. Oh, wrong account. Wrong account. Third time's the charm. Paste. There we go. So, we've got bedtime stories. I'm gonna do this. There we go. Okay. My speakers are weird. There we go. Maybe? No. If they're not set just right, then my headphones crackle. And I don't want headphone crackle. I hardly know her. So for those who are unaware, I had an urge to read bedtime stories to y'all, but specifically the bedtime stories from my childhood. My mom had a copy of this book, and it had a different cover, but it's really hard to find a book titled Bedtime Stories when you don't know authors, when you don't know publisher, when you don't even know what exact date range that the book might have been published. But I really wanted to read this book, and so a friend helped me out, and we found out that it's called Bedtime Stories, published by Brimax Books. It has these beautiful, absolutely gorgeous illustrations by Eric Knepke. And thank you for the headpets. Also, hello Momo, and hello Muffs. Today will be a quiet stream. Theoretically, I have balanced the BGM to my voice properly. You should have slightly clearer audio than normal. I don't normally use this mic filter set because it cuts out my purrs, but I felt that it was appropriate for ASMR to be on the more clear audio. So today will be cozy. I'm just gonna pick out a couple of my favorites. A couple of my favorites from this book. If I go past one that looks interesting, feel free to shout it out in chat. Yeah. But yeah, so this is probably one of my favorite books. Just have, like, these are all different characters from the different stories. They're all reading a whole bunch of different authors, you know, normal table of contents stuff. Look at this cute little snail. They're riding a little snail cart. Thank you to Junior from 1980 who owned this book. I got this copy from a vintage bookseller down in Florida. So they probably had it donated to them or sold to them. I don't know how they get their stock. But yeah, thank you, Junior, for keeping your book in good condition. So, this omnibus comprises stories from 4 volumes Read Again series from 1979, first published in Great Britain by Brimax Books, printed in Italy. I'm pretty sure this book is out of print. I'm gonna move that slightly there. Yes. And yeah. There. What's this? One final check of things. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, I see something I need to put on throne. I'm just gonna have those completely disabled. Yeah, that'll be fine. So it's a collection of stories and poems with pretty illustrations and such. My camera will probably be garbage for focusing, but that's okay because I'll be reading it to you. You don't need to know how to read. You can just relax, be a little kid again, get cozy, get some tea, all that good stuff. Joe's a dreamer. Joe Dreamer fished for whales beside a tiny brook. He dreamt of all the tales that filled his storybook. He dreamt of Mary Meggs, a witch with many a trick, who shaved her weary legs by riding on a stick. And then of little Jim, a goblin brisk and sprightly. Before you speak to him, bow low 3 times politely. And next of Merlin wise, older than time can tell. Don't look into his eyes, or he might work a spell. And when he'd done his dream of wizard, witch, and elf, Joe sat beside the stream and dreamt about himself. Cute little Merlin, got little Jim, got the Mary Meg's witch, little Joe down here. Very, very glorious, beautiful. Alright. This one feels appropriate to read for this channel. Pervy the Piglet. Priscilla was a fine pig. Whenever Farmer Briggs entered her and her piglets in a show, she was awarded the first prize. She always had 10 piglets in a litter, and they were always pink and perfect. Her last family, though, was of 11, and that extra one really was the odd one out. Instead of doing what his brothers and sisters did, he went his own way and found his own amusements. His most notable trick was running round and round the pigsty. The farmer's little daughter, Kate, called him Pervy because he was so perverse, always doing the opposite to what he should be doing. Even Priscilla used the name. "Pervy," she grunted. "Could you possibly put yourself in a more pleasing position?" She always talked like that, very fond of using words beginning with P for pig. "Pervy, Pervy, you are the most perplexing piglet. My poor head is pounding with your prancing performances." Pervy didn't understand half she said, but he loved to hear all her strange expressions. In fact, he thought up more tricks to see if she knew more words. Kate had named him well, very well indeed. One day, he made a discovery. He noticed that their sty was not the only world. Outside the bars of the iron gate there stretched another, a much wider one. Out there, animals and birds were free. They roamed about doing exactly as they pleased. That was the life for him. But how could he get to that fine, free world? He pushed his little snout through the railings and wriggled. It wasn't going to be easy. Almost immediately, a sharp pain struck at the middle of his curly tail. He edged himself back into the sty. Priscilla was holding on tight, and she didn't let go until he was safely down on all four trotters. She fixed him with a disapproving eye. "Pervy," she began in a stern voice, "put that particular pastime right out of your mind. We are prize pigs. We are preserved and perfected here in this clean sty. This is our special place, and you must be satisfied." But Pervy wasn't satisfied. Next time, he squeezed his rear end through first. This way he could keep watch on his mother. It was a clever idea, but it didn't work. Priscilla spotted what he was up to and pulled him back by his ear. Kate heard Pervy squeal and saw his mother holding on. She called to her father. "I think Priscilla has turned against Pervy, Dad. She was biting him." Farmer Briggs examined the piglet. "You're right, Kate. She's split his ear." Poor Pervy. He was no longer perfect. He couldn't be entered for the show. "May I have him, Dad?" Kate asked. So, Pervy left the sty and joined the outside world. He was Kate's pet, and although he missed his mother at first, he soon put Kate in her place and followed her everywhere. A few days before the agricultural show, a new item was added as an attraction for the children. "Odd and unusual pets," it said. "Bring them along and win a prize." "I'll take Pervy," said Kate. So Pervy went to the show after all. He had to endure a good cleanup and being enclosed in a makeshift sty. This didn't please him at all. The judging was about to begin when Pervy decided he'd had enough. Rooting under the insecure hurdles, he dislodged them and was off. "What perfect, beautiful pleasure!" he whispered to himself, trying to talk like Priscilla. Some faint scent in the air reminded him of her. He was reminded also of his old tricks, and he started to race round and round and round. In no time at all, there was chaos. Not a chase, it was chaos. Children screamed, and old people were knocked off balance, and show officials ran about shouting and looking ridiculous. When the crowd saw how funny it was, they let out a roar of laughter. This grew and spread across the field as Pervy widened his racing circles. Suddenly, he altered course, turned completely, and made a beeline in the opposite direction. It was even more hilarious. Chasers scattered as the pink object dived between their legs. Far out across the showground, he came up sharp against some strong, well-staked fencing. A ticket first prize hung on a spoke. There lay Priscilla and 10 perfect piglets. Oh, how delighted he was to see her. His ears flapped and trembled with joy, even the torn one. He pushed and pushed his nose into her pen, and she met him with tender little grunting noises. While she kissed him on his tender little snout, Pervy stood quite still, but his tail went round faster and faster. Kate was the first to catch up with him. She grabbed him firmly and popped him in with his mother. The people cheered. Then many asked how it was that a pig with a family would accept another, a strange piglet. Kate had to tell the story over and over, that Pervy was her piglet and that he had been clever enough to find her. When it came to the choosing of the most unusual pet, well, Pervy's name was shouted by all the onlookers. "Pervy! Pervy! He's the one! Pervy!" The crowd joined in the chant. The judge agreed. "For entertaining us so well," he said, "I present Pervy with the prize. Piglet of the famous, well-known Priscilla, he has this afternoon proved himself to be the most pleasing and most peculiar pet of the show." Pervy was listening. "Hello," he thought. "My mother is not the only one who talks like that. And who's peculiar anyway? He straightened his tail, curled it up again, and gave a little grunt. His very first. He'd added to his mother's reputation. Her perverse piglet had won a prize. Things were pretty good. Yes, he said. Everything is positively perfect. They're so cute. I love these drawings. Oh, gosh. These drawings are great. So, let's see if I can... Let's see... Bring it to focus just a wee bit better. I think my weird lighting might also be messing with it. Let's see, what does it do? Yeah, that ought to do. Yeah. And I'm planning on after stream I'm hoping to cut all these up into individual highlight reels and have them all uploaded to my YouTube channel as individual story, but like story things, so that, you know, you'll have the whole VOD of casual reading and low talking, but also the individual stories if you just want one. These cute drawings. I'm gonna skip this one. Oh, cute little mice. There we go. Peas. A gardener kneeling on his knees planted several rows of peas. The sunshine shone, the breezes blew, and all the little pea pods grew. Then in the night from a nearby hole, a family of mice to the garden stole. They climbed the stems with the greatest ease, and that was the end of the garden peas. Garden of peas. Make sure you stretch your beans, even if you're only reading a book. Stretch. Beans! Hello, kids. We're reading bedtime stories. Nice and chill and beautiful. I just realized that I have the ghost enabled. I'm going to actually that's how I can... There we go. You just woke up. Go right back to sleep. Oh, I'm burp. Ugh. Yeah, it's just a quiet stream today. I understand. It might also be a short stream. Considering that I didn't get much sleep last night. Yeah. 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 Purr is good ASMR. Yeah, unfortunately, it gets cut off with the filter that I have on the clear mic. So. Alright. This one's got a little wizard boy. I'm gonna go to the next one. I'm gonna go to Ned of the Todden. This little kitty is one. There's a couple of Ned of the Todden books, like stories in here. And look at how cute he is. Look at how cute he is. Oh, he's so cute. I love Ned. I love Ned so much. Ned, my beloved. Once upon a time, there was a little tortoiseshell kitten with pointed ears and a twitchy tail. His name was Ned of the Todden, which was a rather strange name, but it was the only one he had, and he soon got used to it. His mother's name was Howler, and his father's name was Scarach, and they all lived together on an emerald green bank between an old stone farmhouse and a brambly wood. Now, you could tell that Ned of the Todden was not an ordinary kitten, because he began to look out for mice when he was only 2 hours old. When he was only 2 days old, he could skip about and talk better than most grown-up cats. When he was only 3 days old, he was a full-size furry kitten, and when he was 4 days old, he began to go out on his adventures. I don't think that's how cat aging works. He must be magical. First of all, he trotted daintily up to the old stone farmhouse when nobody was about, just to see what it was like. There on the gray stone step there were 3 bottles of snow-white milk with shiny silver tops. "Give me some milk," cried Ned, "or I'll knock your tops off with my twitchy tail." But the milk bottles just stood there, as deaf as 3 white posts, and didn't do anything at all. So Ned went up to the first milk bottle and carefully pressed its silver top with his twitchy tail. Then he took it between his furry paws and drank all the milk out of it. Gulp, 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 just like that. Then he went up to the second milk bottle and pressed its silver top carefully with his twitchy tail. Then he took it between his furry paws and drank all the milk out of that too. But when he came to the third, he had really had enough, so he drank no more than the smooth cream off the top. Lap, lap, lap. Just like that. It was delicious. When the farmer came to look for his milk, he was very surprised indeed to find most of it gone. "Well, I don't know," he said. In the meantime, Ned of the Todden went skipping gaily over the emerald green grass toward the sparkling river that ran along behind the farmhouse. Now, an ordinary kitten is very frightened indeed of water, but Ned didn't mind it a bit. There he stood on the riverside, and as he looked down into the sparkling water, he could see a lot of little fish swimming lazily about in the sunshine, for all the world as if it was a Sunday, with nothing to do. "Come up and be eaten, little fish," cried Ned, "or I'll splash all of the water out of the river with my twitchy tail." But the little fish were far too busy doing nothing to listen to Ned, and they just went on swimming lazily about in the sunshine. "Come up and be eaten, little fish," cried Ned again, "or I'll knock all your scales off with my twitchy tail." But the little fish could not hear what Ned was saying. They just went on swimming round and round in the sparkling water. So Ned jumped straight into the river and gobbled up all the lazy fish. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Just like that. Then he sprang merrily out of the water onto the riverside. He shook himself so hard that the little water drops made a rainbow in the sunshine. "That's better," he said. Then he went on his way, for all the world like an ordinary kitten who is simply out for a stroll among the daisies and dandelions. He hadn't gone very far when he came upon a rather muddy pigsty. Inside the pigsty was a very large pig indeed. He had pink flapping ears and pink trotters and a curly pink tail. His name was Groaner-Gut Swilltrough, and he was the most bad-tempered pig in the neighborhood. As soon as he saw Ned, he gave an unfriendly little grunt. "Ugh!" Just like that. "Go away, little kitten," he said. "I haven't got time for you today." Groaner-Gut kicked several pieces of mud at Ned as he stood in the entrance to the pigsty. "If you do that again," said Ned, "I'll knock your ears flat with my twitchy tail." Groaner-Gut Swilltrough gave a horrid little squeal. "Eee!" Just like that. Then he kicked some much larger pieces of mud at Ned. Any ordinary kitten would have run away, but Ned was not an ordinary kitten by a long way. All he did was hit Groaner-Gut's piggy nose with his twitchy tail. Whop! Just like that. "Squeal!" said Groaner-Gut, looking very shocked indeed. He got as much mud as he could and tried to kick it over Ned, but Ned skipped cleverly out of the way and it all missed. Then Groaner-Gut ran up to Ned and tried to squash him into the mud, but Ned pulled his flapping ears over his eyes with his twitchy tail so that he couldn't see where he was going. He bumped into the side of the pigsty with a terrible thud, just like that. "Eee!" said Groaner-Gut. He lay there exhausted. In the meantime, Ned of the Todden went happily on his way across the emerald green grass, all sprinkled on with snow-white daisies. He went past the old stone farmhouse, and he was just on his way home when he smelled a delicious smell. He sniffed, and sniffed again. But he didn't know what it was, because he was only 4 days old, and you couldn't expect him to know everything. He followed the smell all the way back to the old farmhouse. It led him over the gray stone step and into the spotless white kitchen. There, on the wooden table, was a beautiful piece of yellow cheese. Ned sniffed carefully. No doubt about it, the smell led right up to the cheese. Quick as a flash, Ned jumped onto the table and ate up the cheese. Swallow, swallow. Just like that. "That was delicious," he said. Just then he heard someone coming, so he jumped straight down off the wooden table and went quietly out through the door. When the farmer's wife saw that her cheese had gone, she was very surprised indeed. "Well, I don't know," she said. As soon as he got home, Ned the Todden told his mummy and daddy all he had done during the day. Scratch and Howler raised their furry eyebrows because they had never heard of such an extraordinary kitten before. "Well," said Scratch. "Well," said Howler. So Ned curled up on a patch of soft moss and went to sleep, because he really was a bit tired after his adventures. There he lay, in a little tortoiseshell bundle, for all the world like a quiet, well-behaved kitten of whom any mother could be proud. He said. Hello, Waifu. Hello, we're reading bedtime stories today. I hope you're doing well. Ned is a menace. Also, I think, on top of being magical, I think, like, despite the photos here, like, all the illustrations that are colored show that he's, like, an orangey brown, like an orangey brown color, right? It describes him as tortoiseshell. And tortoiseshell is a very specific pattern of black and orange. That is not a stripy pattern. He's got kind of like a calico, or not calico, he's got like a tabby striping from his mama, probably. Like, he could just be an inaccurately described ginger cat. However, if he is accurately being described as tortoiseshell and the illustrations are off canon, drawing him as a ginger, then this little guy is a little trans cat. Or either trans or intersex. because in order to have a truly tortoiseshell cat, you have to have two X chromosomes. It is possible for a male cat to have two X chromosomes. However, the XXY configuration is one of the many ways that mammals can be intersex. I believe that's Klinefelter syndrome. People can get it too. But the reason why tortoiseshell and calico require two X chromosomes is that for some reason the orange and the black color on a cat come from the same spot on the X chromosome. So if you only have one X chromosome and you have you can only be orange or black. But if you have two X chromosomes, in order to be a fully black cat, then you need two black genes. And in order to be a fully orange cat, you need two orange genes. So it's harder to get a solid orange female cat or a solid black female cat, just because the chances are higher for there to be a mix in a lot of cases. Scarface has this going on, though she also has a dilution factor that turns her black gene into a silver and her orange gene into more of a tan. So she's lighter colored. But yeah, so Net of the Todden is probably magical and possibly intersex or trans, which I think is extra funny. Yeah, Beatrice is a tortico. She has the torty mix all over her, but she has a little white beard and some of her belly and feet. Yeah, so calico, it's like the tortoiseshell is the blending of, like, it's the mix, it's the mottled mix of colors, where calico is more patchy. So you'll have a patch of orange and a patch of black and a patch of orange, regardless of the amount of white. Because the white, the piebalding, is a different thing entirely. That is a side effect of domestication, where when the pigment is so when you're developing fetally, your pigment starts along your spine and it spreads out to your limbs, and if it doesn't get all the way to the ends of your limbs, then the ends of them will be white. Did I come in during an ADHD moment? I'm over explaining cat genetics. We just finished talking about Net of the Todden, who is this adorable little ginger cat, and he is described as tortoiseshell, which is a specific pattern of mottled orange and black that requires two X chromosomes. I read about that the other day, and I was like, well, my white cat is completely unbaked. Yeah, I'm not sure how it works with fully white cats, but I know that for piebald animals in general, so horses can get piebalding, guinea pigs can get piebalding, dogs and cats can get piebalding. For domesticated animals in particular, it's really, really common because of the way that domestication affected their color development. Domestication, to the best of our knowledge, seems to take animal, so it's like if their wild counterpart, so a wolf, is a full adult, a dog has more juvenile brain. It's kept in more of a puppy-like state comparatively to the wolf, which is why they are like why it's like their whole development slows down, which allows them to be friendlier. Thank you for the sippies. White cats are more likely to get cancer than other color cats. Yeah, I know. I know there can be a lot of eye issues with a lot of different piebalding genes. Whether the eyes are underdeveloped or are more prone to going blind, that kind of thing. So like a blue-eyed white cat is pretty likely to develop blindness. Also, is my sippies too loud for y'all? It's loud in my ears, but I'm okay with that. Not really? Okay, good. Okay. Excellent. In that case, I'm gonna go back over here. Barely heard them? Okay. Gotcha. It's gonna be... spritz. Okay. I find that OBS is pretty loud for the streamer, not necessarily for stream. It's interesting. I'm pretty sure I adjusted all of that, yeah, so I just need new speakers, I think. Or headphones that have like a thingy on the cord. It's just the cord. But let's read about poor Bessie. Bessie the elephant blushed with shame. She had forgotten her name. Her name! She asked the stork, but he would not tell. The parrot, he merely said, well, well. She asked the lion, who roared with laughter, and 10 little monkeys came giggling after. She asked the hippo, who yawned aloud. The stately peacock was much too proud. The donkey, he merely gave a bray. The dormouse was shy and couldn't say. Bessie blew her trumpet. Oh, tell me, do! Then all of them answered, you are you! Unhelpful. Oh yes, Billy and the monster. Okay, I'm also I'm finding that I'm whispering in a higher pitch, and that's gonna really strain my voice. So I'm gonna try and read this one in this register where it's more from my chest, from my chest rather than up in my throat. I do not want to strain my voice too badly. All right, Billy. Billy sat on the rocks fishing. It was nearly supper time, and he'd caught nothing. Suddenly, a voice said, will this one do? Billy turned to see a monster's head raised up out of the water and a fish flapping on the rocks. I'm Jessica, said the monster. Oh, thank you. I'm Billy. Can I do anything for you? Jessica wanted some different food. I'm tired of fish, she said. Billy raced home. He ate his supper and was back at the rock with his pockets bulging. Jessica waited. "Come for a ride," she said, humping her back. Away they went, Billy singing at the top of his voice and Jessica beating time with her tail. It was fun. Billy went up and down, riding the monster like a rocking horse. "I'll take you to my island," said Jessica. Billy could see it in the distance. It looked a wonderful place. When Jessica slid up onto the beach, she lowered her back for Billy to get off. Then she surrounded him with her coiled body. "Now, Billy," she said, "what have you brought me?" For the first time, Billy noticed how beautiful she was. Her big, dark eyes with thick lashes, the colored markings on her silky skin and her gentle voice. They made her someone quite special. "Between you and me, Chad, I think Billy would fit in well here." "Oh, yes, I have," he stammered. He felt he should say, "Your Royal Highness," or "Your Majesty." He pulled a packet from his pocket, almost ashamed of his simple gift. "I could only bring bread. I hope you like it." He broke a piece off and held it for her. She took it carefully, eating slowly, tasting it well. "More, please?" she asked. Billy fed her until the last crust had gone. "That's all, Jessica. Were you disappointed?" She smiled. "Not at all, Billy. It was delicious. What did you call it?" Billy was delighted to have pleased her. God. These are wholesome bedtime stories. I can't believe myself. I wonder... "Bread," he answered. Bread," she repeated. The word was new to her. Then she made him a pillow with her tail. "There, lie down, Billy. You must be tired." He was soon fast asleep. "Look at her. She's so pretty. With all her little fishy, crabby friends." Billy awoke to see eyes peeping at him over the wall of Jessica's body. These eyes belonged to crabs, lobsters, an octopus waving her arms about, and a smiling dolphin. Oh, there's the dolphin. He liked the dolphin. "They found crumbs from your bread," said Jessica. "They're hoping for more." Billy wished he did have more, but his pockets were empty. "They want you to make some," went on Jessica. "In fact, they demand it." Billy could see they were excited and quarrelsome. "I can't," he said. "Mother makes it." "Shall I bring your mother here?" Jessica whispered. Billy shook his head. "No, she wouldn't come. Besides, she couldn't make bread here." Jessica was thinking. Would your mother make bread for me to bring back?" she asked. "Well, yes," Billy began. "If she had enough flour." Jessica smiled. "Then my plan will work. I'll promise them bread and leave to get it. You must wait here. I'll turn back and come close in under the water. When you see my tail, jump on and we'll be away." It sounded a big idea. Gotta make a big cake. Yeah, big old cake. Look at him. Yeah, this surely had nothing to do with my corruption. Oh my god, today might be a really short stream. I might put myself to sleep with these. I shh, I will. Let me read a few more. Please don't leave stream if I've seen that happen several times. No, I won't. I've got a weird lighting set up right now. Won't they be angry and swim after us? Asked Billy. Jessica's eyes twinkled. They might, but they're slow. Except the dolphin, and he's a friend. She raised herself up, looked at them all, and made a speech. Some clapped their claws, pleased. Others grumbled. The dolphin came to stand by Billy. Stand? Jessica pushed out to sea. Keep them happy, advised the dolphin. You were singing last night. Start singing now. Billy was glad to have something to do. I'll try, he said. His voice wouldn't come at first, but soon he was braver and louder. The dolphin swayed to the music. Before long, all the creatures were clapping, tapping, and stamping. A real percussion band. While they were all enjoying themselves, Jessica's tail appeared, slithering towards Billy from the waves. Keep singing, muttered the dolphin, and go, now! Billy jumped, but stopped singing. The creatures looked round. We've been tricked, they cried. You promised us bread! You promised! They scuttled down the beach and dived in after Jessica and Billy. Jessica outswam them all. Billy saw his mother out looking for him. He waved and shouted. How amazed she was to see him riding on the back of a monster. He ran to her and brought her to the water's edge to meet his friend Jessica. They sat talking, and Billy's mother said she would be glad to make lots of bread so that Jessica could keep her promise to the sea creatures. Just then, who should come to join them but the dolphin? He was smiling, looking very happy. He'd persuaded the disappointed crabs, lobsters, and the octopus that if only they'd be patient instead of bad-tempered, everyone would be satisfied. Off went Billy and his mother to get the fire going and to make the bread. They were all to meet again that evening. What a party they had! Jessica caught fish, which Billy cooked on the beach. When his mother brought the crisp, crusty loaves, there was a loud cheer. On the rocks sat all the creatures, waiting for their share. They clapped and praised the excellent food called bread. After supper, they entertained one another. The dolphin gave acrobatic leaps out of the water. Billy sang, and his mother told them a story. Jessica had never enjoyed herself so much. Please, Billy's mother, may we come again? Wait, no. That's her asking. I thought it was the creatures. Please, Billy's mother, may we come again? She asked. Everyone laughed and waved. Yes, yes, please do come again. The dolphin whispered. She's our queen, you know. Billy's heart bounced. I knew it, he muttered. I just knew it. Oh, and that's the last of that story. What a way to end a story. Look at. She's got like some hella like. She's got some hella dragon titties. Right there. Look at. Dragon boobs. Got them lashes too. Yeah, like she's got some beautiful eyes. Like you gotta make sure that everyone knows that she's a girl dragon, you know, girl monster. All right, well, so that's the best. Hello, Turtle. Yes, we're reading bedtime stories. Oh, boy. Yeah. Yas, queen. Yas, queen. Most recent book I've been reading is Robert's Rules of Order. I don't know that one. Yeah, this is a childhood bedtime stories book that I really like. It's quite lovely. And I feel like little Billy here had an awakening with this monster. No shame, no shame. He's just gonna be a little monster king, monster prince, you know. Let's see. Oh! Don't worry about it. I definitely didn't have... No, Melissa, it was me. I had two mics. Two mic sources. I have the mic that I normally use to get my purrs. And then I have the one that is currently active, that has a noise filter. But if I try to do purrs on the noise filter, it's inconsistent with whether or not it's going to pick it up. So, rather than risk it, I just turn on the other one and get a vague echo. You know, normal things. Yeah. Hello, Agathos. How are you doing? We are reading bedtime stories. One of my other favorites, The Unexpected Rainbow. Bedtime stories good. Been sick of many things the past few weeks, yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to have this VOD up on YouTube for folks. Just so they can, you know, have some nice bedtime stories. Not quite public domain, but also, like, transformative. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. We're doing smooth. I'm doing some, can I, yeah. I don't know if that got picked up. Heck, ASMR is sparkly. Yippee! Hello, Lucevo. Enjoy little ASMR bits. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm reading bedtime stories. That's what I'm doing here. We're gonna read the Unexpected Rainbow. High above the earth. No, we're going to drop drop it down here. There we go. How to explain how ASMR makes you feel? Well, hopefully it's a positive feeling, and we're going to read stuff. The deeper voice that I have is easier on my throat, even soft. I just have to remember to stay down here through the voices that I'm putting on, because this is technically a voice that I am doing on purpose, rather than my natural voice at this lower speaking level. High above the earth, in the land of clouds, there were two kingdoms, the kingdom of Soul and the kingdom of Splash. Both of these were ruled by powerful kings. Now the king of Splash lived in a tall, proud castle on top of a big black rain cloud, while not many miles away, on a big fluffy sun cloud, lived the king of Soul. You would think that living so close to one another, the two kingdoms would be friendly, But this was not so. In fact, they were always quarreling because the King of Splash always wanted it to rain, and the King of Soul always wanted it to be sunny. So, in order to make things fair, the two kingdoms agreed that one day it would be nice and sunny so that people could go for picnics, and the next it would rain so as to give the trees and flowers a good drink. For a time, this plan worked very well, until one day, things went very wrong. The King of Splash was getting rather old, and at times he was apt to be very forgetful. His memory was getting so bad that sometimes he even forgot to eat his breakfast. On this particular morning, the king woke up even more forgetful than usual. He not only forgot to eat his breakfast, but he also forgot which day it was. This is just me. This is just me every day. By lunchtime, he was very hungry, and that made him very grumpy. He went over to the window and looked down at the earth below. Yes, he said. Things down there look as though they could do with a good drink. We'll give 'em a good soaking today. He picked up a small golden bell from his table and shook it hard. Immediately the door opened and a little blue man popped his head inside the room. "Summon the chief rainmaker," called the king. "Yes, your majesty," said the little man and ran off down the stairs. 2 minutes later another little man popped his head round the door. "Yes, your majesty," he said. Come in," boomed the king. The little man came in and closed the door behind him. The king looked out of the window again, then turned to the little man. "What a lovely day for a downpour, Plip," he said, smiling. "I think we'll have a nice shower today." The little man scratched his head. "Beg pardon, your majesty," he said, "but it's not supposed to rain today." "Not supposed to rain?" shouted the king. "If I say it will rain, then it will rain. Is that clear?" "But, your majesty—" "Don't but me," shouted the king, feeling very angry indeed. "Go and do as I say." I did say but. There's an ad break theoretically happening. So I am going to do that. I'm going to lean back. I'm going to go drink some waters. And I'm just gonna admire the pretty art. And this is why we're not royalists here. Function ability, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've got the Kingdom of Soul on fire over here. The spout for the Kingdom of Splash here. Sleepy story time? Indeed. I'm waiting for an ad break, just in case, before I start reading again. Rate as well overrated and underrated. Indeed. Indeed. Like, it's great, but also, fuck it. How's things in here? Sleepy. Today's probably going to be a short stream, because I did not get much sleep last night. And I'm putting myself to sleep. I love this book. It's got such pretty... We're not gonna do spoilers. I was having a important feelings conversation with a friend. Sleep seems to be a rare commodity. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, it wasn't, feelings with me and the friend. It was me getting some stuff off my chest that's been weighing on me. Both good and bad. There's a lot of things on my mind recently. Alright. Ad should be done, so let's continue. The little man backed slowly out of the room. Dropping my voice. The little man backed slowly out of the room. Yes, your majesty, certainly, your majesty. Poor Plip ran down the stairs as fast as his little legs could carry him. When he reached the bottom, he had to climb another flight of steps, and those led him to the rain tower. At the top of the tower was a tiny room, and inside this stood the Rainmaker. One good tug at the great wheel was all that was needed, and soon the rain was pitter-pattering down onto the earth below. The king looked down from his window and clapped his hands with glee as he watched the large spots of rain send the people on earth running off to find shelter. But why had they looked so surprised? Surely by now they knew when to expect rain. Strangely enough, the people on earth were not the only ones surprised at the rain. A few miles away, the people of Seoul were gazing out of their windows in astonishment. "Surely this could not be so," they cried. "It is our turn to make it sunny today. Why, only yesterday it poured with rain." The king of Seoul stood at his window and watched angrily as the rain poured down on the earth below. "Summon the torchbearer," he shouted, "and light the biggest candle in the castle. That should put a stop to the downpour." The sight of the large candle alight made the King of Splash even angrier, and he shook his fist at the great white cloud. "How dare they!" he cried. "How dare they!" His shouting echoed around the castle. Startled, Plip came running into the room. "Ah," said the king, "and the very person I wish to see." "Thunder and lightning, that's what we need. I want the biggest thunderstorm possible. That should put their candle out once and for all." "But, your majesty, you don't understand." "Go!" boomed the king. "Do as I say, or I shall have you locked up in the deepest dungeon with nothing to eat but bread and water." Poor Plip shook in his shoes, then once again turned on his heels and fled to the rain tower. The lightning flashed, the thunder crashed, and the rain poured down in torrents. "Oh no, a dungeon. Stretch your beans. Stretch your beans. Bean stretching." The lightning flashed, the thunder crashed, and the rain poured down in torrents. While on Seoul, more candles were lit, and never before had they burned as fiercely as they did that day. As for the people on earth, well, they could hardly believe their eyes. One moment the thunder roared above them, and the sun poured down in torrents. The next, the sun shone bright and hot. The battle went on for some time, although it wasn't long before the strange sight came to the attention of the cold north wind. He was busy at that moment blowing the snow to people in faraway lands. Now the cold north wind, being very clever, and also very powerful, realized at once what had happened, so leaving his work immediately, he flew off towards the two kingdoms.
I'll teach the pair of them, he said angrily. Taking one mighty breath, he blew out all the candles on Sol and promptly froze the water in the giant tap on Splash. The people of Splash looked up at their rainmaker in horror. A large drop of water had frozen solid around the bottom of the great tap, and try as they might, they could not make it rain. On Sol, too, the people looked up in dismay at the proud golden candles. All that was left of the brilliant yellow light was now just a puff of black smoke. The people on Earth came out of their houses and looked up at the sky. What had happened to the sun? And where was the rain? These were very strange goings-on indeed. By now, the King of Splash had been told of his mistake, and was feeling very silly. He knew he would have to go and apologize to the King of Sol and make friends with him again. So he ordered his carriage to be made ready and set off for the big white cloud. The King of Sol sat on his throne with his head resting on his hand. What was he to do? Perhaps he had been too hasty. After all, the King of Splash was getting old, and he had heard that he was rather forgetful at times. Suddenly, there came a loud knock at the door. Rap, 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 rap. Come in, he called. I forgot what voice I did for him. The door opened, and there stood the King of Splash.
Thank you for the head pats and the zippies.
The king got up from his throne and held out his hands. My dear fellow, he cried. The King of Splash walked up to him and took his hands. I've been an old fool, said the King of Splash. And I have been too hasty. I forgot what voice. Yes, said the King of Sol. Suddenly, without warning, came a loud bang, and all the doors of the palace flew open. So, I see you have made friends again. It was the North Wind. Yes, we have, said the two kings together. I see, said the North Wind. Then he thought for a moment. Well, do you both solemnly promise never to quarrel again? Both kings nodded their heads. Very well. In that case, I shall send for my brother the warm south wind to undo the work I have done. The North Wind kept his promise and sent for his brother. One great puff of his warm breath, and immediately the water in the giant tap unfroze, and once again the golden candles of Sol burned bright and hot. So everything turned out happily in the end, and just to show the people on Earth that the two kingdoms had made friends, the people of Sol and Splash joined together and painted a giant rainbow across the sky. Yeah, for real. Like, look at, like, lovers to enemies to lovers. For real, for real.
Hello, Hellbond! Oh, yay! Yippee! It looks so cute!
So why are we wearing gloves? It's a VTuber thing.
My beans, they are light gray. And so my hands are clear. Clearly these aren't gloves. Clearly this is just my skin color. Clearly there's nothing poking through whatsoever. It's definitely not see-through. Shh, don't worry about it. Nice flannel. Yeah, it's cozy. Cozy flannel. Ooh, cozy flannel.
Yeah, it's the gloves are just a VTuber thing. A lot of folks do it for like skin tone anonymity. you know that I used to be a face cam streamer. I don't care about that. So for me, it's just immersion. So that you can pretend that I am a shape-changed Centicat. Alright, immersion break over. Cheese and beans. I remember just going through this book and looking at the illustrations. Only reading the animal ones. I've been interrupting. Waiting to find these. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the emote. I did that. I made that. Alright. There. Yeah. Right. There. Yeah.
I'm very pleased with it. Handful of books in like the 30s and 60s like this. Yeah, this one was published in 1979 originally. And I love Eric Knepke's style. Oh my god, Oscar.
Look at this puppy. Look at the puppy. He's so cute. He's so cute.
Unsevered Pete.
My little boy Oscar got ears but no legs. Yeah, he's so short.
A puppy named Oscar had very long ears. They earned him unpleasant remarks and the sneers of Jenny and Penny, his two lady friends, who swore that his ears had no shape and no ends. He walked up and down, shedding many a tear, and then he was struck with a splendid idea. He went to the mirror and with a huge grin tied a neat bow with them under his chin. Now Jenny and Penny admire his good features. They think him the very divinest of creatures. And all the young dogs are a-wearing of bows on ear and on chin and on tail and on nose.
It is a book. This one has my boy Oscar. Look at him. He's so cute. The angle is weird. The angle is so weird. There we go. Look at him. He's so cute.
Ah, adorable.
Yeah.
Because finally being there's Bedtime Stories on the Bus by Brimax Books. I wanted to read bedtime stories to y'all, so you know. I'll come back and read some of these other ones. How do we confirm it's actually him reading them? Not at the time again. Alright. How do we confirm it's actually him reading though? I don't know. Humpty Dumpty climbed over the wall. He'd really had no business there at all. He cut his hand, he tore his trews, and scuffed the toes of his newest shoes. He slithered down onto grassy ground, then brushed himself off and looked around. Soldiers approached and grabbed at him. "Young man, you must come and see the king." They marched him then to the high courtroom. He trembled to think upon his doom. The king looked up, eyes opened wide. He laughed and laughed till he almost cried. "Pray, what on earth do you call yourself? Should you not be on the dairy shelf? Aren't you an egg fresh laid, surely? And for heaven's sake, why come to me?" At the name Humpty Dumpty, the king laughed again. "You're an strange thing. A mascot, eh? To cheer my men? Clean it up, and I'll see 'em again." Humpty was dressed in uniform fine, and there he marched at the head of the line. When he was tired, they held him up, and bore him along in the king's egg cup. His fame it spread wide from land to land. He'd a special tune and a special band. Such special care they had to take, for never, oh never, must Humpty break. I wish I could do that. My dumb buggy butt has a rule. I have to take a shot for any time I read something out loud. You fool. No beans tonight. I couldn't. My bean transformation didn't work properly. I don't know where they are. I will have to look for them later. I was already running a little late. Alright. I like Ned of the Totem a lot. So we're gonna read this. We're gonna read Ned of the Totem again. Which is the title of the Ned of the Totem again. He was 4 days old by the time he was having adventures, so he's a very strange, magical little kitten. Including if I have to reread something. Oh no. Shaking my head. Hydration, homies. You know it. Drink your water. Get your sippies. Get the sippies. Alright. Ned of the Totten was a very unusual ginger kitten. He lived on an emerald green bank between an old stone farmhouse and a brambly wood. His mother's name was Wowler, and his father's name was Scratch. His round eyes sparkled with curiosity, because all cats are curious, as you know. One day, Ned went out towards the brambly woods to catch a mouse for his dinner. He went down the emerald green bank, across the field, and into the bramble bushes. They didn't scratch him because he was so small. Now, he hadn't gone very far when he heard a noise. Pit-a-pat, pit-a-pat, just like that. Round the corner came a big black cat. His coat was black, his nose was black, and his whiskers were black. His eyes gleamed like little bonfires. His name was Clawface the Magnificent, and he was the most dreaded cat in all of the neighborhood. "Out of my way, little kitten," said Clawface the Magnificent. "This is my brambly wood. You have no business to be here." "No, I won't get out of the way," said Ned. "I am looking for my dinner." "Go home to your mother at once," said Clawface, "or I'll have you for my dinner." "No, I won't," said Ned, who wasn't afraid of anybody. "Meow!" cried Clawface the Magnificent. "Do as you're told, or I'll spank you hard." "If you do," said Ned, "I'll crumple your whiskers with my twitchy tail." Now, Clawface was not used to being spoken to like that by a little kitten. Without more ado, he sprang towards Ned, and he would certainly have spanked him very hard indeed, but Ned turned round and hit him on the nose with his twitchy tail. Plonk! Just like that. Clawface the Magnificent became so angry he didn't know what to do. His black fur stood on end, his black tail waved about, and he hissed. Or probably more, let's see, more like, no. But Ned of the Todden sat very calmly and licked his furry paws, for all the world as if there was nothing going on at all. Suddenly, Clawface the Magnificent sprang again, but Ned jumped out of the way at once. Then he caught hold of poor Clawface's front legs with his twitchy tail. He pulled Clawface's legs hard, and Clawface fell on his nose in a patch of damp grass. He said. Ned left Clawface where he was and went on his way to look for his dinner. He had not gone far when he heard a rustling noise coming from the wavy corn. Before he knew where he was, there stood a brown hare. The hare had long ears, long back legs, and little short front legs. His name was Maleverer Hopquick. He was the fastest hare in all the neighborhood. Hello, Zebby. We are reading bedtime stories. Welcome back.
Hello, little kitten,
said Maleverer Hopquick.
Would you like a race round the field?
If you like, said Ned.
I bet you can't run as fast as I can,
said Maleverer Hopquick.
So I will give you a start.
But before he had time to say any more, Ned was off. He ran round the field so fast you couldn't see his legs at all, and although Maleverer Hopquick ran as fast as he could not catch up with him.
That wasn't fair, little kitten,
said Maleverer.
You didn't wait for me to start. This time I will count.
So Maleverer Hopquick counted.
1, 2, 3. Just like that.
Yet, although he ran faster than he had ever run before, he could not catch up with Furry Ned. Round and round the field they went, and I'm afraid they knocked over a great many ears of corn, until poor Maleverer sat down under a shady tree.
Phew!
He cried.
I didn't know kittens could run as fast as that.
Some of 'em can, said Ned. He began to wash his whiskers for all the world as if he had just been out for a walk in the dappled sunshine. They had not been sitting there long when they heard a strange noise. Just like that. As soon as they heard it, they knew there was a dog coming. The noise came nearer and nearer until it was just behind the shady tree.
Goodbye, little kitten, said
Maleverer Hopquick.
I must be off.
He ran across the field like greased lightning, which, as you know, is very fast indeed. The noise came right round the tree, and there stood an enormous dog. He had sharp teeth, sharp ears, a sharp nose, and sharp claws. His name was Woofus Woofusson. He was the fiercest dog for miles. He said, "Little kitten, I'm going to bite your tail off."
"Oh, no, you're not,"
said Ned. Quick as a flash, he jumped onto Woofus Woofusson's back. There he sat, and although Woofus Woofusson danced about and did everything he could think of to get him down, he simply stayed there, for all the world as if he was stuck on with glue. "Come off my back, little kitten," cried Woofus Woofusson, "and I'll let you go home to your mother." Now, Furry Ned knew he wouldn't do anything of the sort, but he jumped nimbly down and started to walk away. Woofus Woofusson came after him immediately to try to bite him, but Ned got hold of his collar with his twitchy tail and threw him high into the branches of a shady tree. This kitten has a very strong tail. His leather collar caught on a twig, and he hung there, gently swaying to and fro in the breeze. He said, feeling very sorry for himself. Just then, Woofus's master came by on his way to the old stone farmhouse. "You're in a fine state, aren't you, my lad?" he said. Woofus's master reached up to the tree to get Woofus down. As he put his arms up, something fell out of his pocket. It was a packet of cheese sandwiches. As soon as Woofus and his master had gone on their way to the farmhouse, Ned ran up to the sandwiches. He undid the packet with his twitchy tail and ate them up for his dinner. Munch, munch, munch. Just like that. "I do like cheese sandwiches," said Ned. Then, because he'd eaten his dinner, he lay down in a patch of warm sunshine and fell fast asleep, for all the world like an ordinary little kitten who had never even heard of cheese. He said.
Hello, Shepherd Ross. How are you doing today? We are reading bedtime stories and having a good time because I love my best kitten friend, Ned of the Todden. He is a delightful little kitty. Little shit.
I'm not as sassy as Ned. Ned is super sassy. I am nowhere near as sassy. And I do like freaks here. This is a very explicitly safe space for freaks and weirdos and degenerates. I am not kidding when I tag my stream with utter degenerates and monster fucker safe space. Also, Squint. You know what? I want to take this moment to very quietly introduce myself. Hi, hello. Hi, hello. My name is AkiraChiVT. I'm a centipede cat VTuber. I do art and video games. And I also really like to read things. Wish to peg the mimic here. Yeah. Which mimic? Oh my god. Wait. Oh my god, it's one of these emotes. Lovely. Beautiful. Thank you for the head pat. Normally there's a lot more redeems, but I've disabled most of them for having a chill reading stream. I lost my bookmark. This is a storybook that I had as a Kitten. Oh my god. What in the hell's going on in here? I'm reading stories, Angie. You just wish to pat. Excellent. Human centipede, human centipede. Y'all better be wholesome. Mostly. Hello, Everblaze. Bug. How are you doing? What's cuteness sent a bug indeed. Glad to catch your stream. Lovely to have you here. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. To anyone who does not know what Angie is referring to, Imbliss has very kindly linked it in chat. It is very different vibes from what is going on in here, but Tom Cardy makes beautiful, beautiful songs, and Glue Game Lady did a fantastic animation with an alternate universe version of her her and her friends' Fallout OCs. Technically safe for work. It's It's not safe for work, but you know, little heck of beans. Get the beans. The beanless. Some of those drawings of Scooby-Doo. Oh. I need to rewatch the music video that Glue made, because I watched it like once or twice. Gonna have to hit alert, but came to check out your bugliness. Well, it's wonderful to have you here. I'm trying to remember where I recognize your name from, so I'm pretty sure that's buried. I've seen your name recently. Stream watch along? No, not today. Today is wholesome, quiet. In the future, we'll like maybe next stream Sunday inscription. We can do stuff. My gosh. Nonsense. Oh, morbid. Okay, yes. Yeah. I think you might have followed after the Lethal Company collab last week. That was very fun. Okay. Quietly jump scared by my sippies. But yes, I am Bug. I do all my own art. Oh, also, we have some new emotes, because I have so many goddamn emote slots. It's ridiculous. So I'm just kind of filling them in. We've got ah and We've got wah. We've got yay, which is a content-aware scaled version of yay that I find really funny. Codename Ferret did that for me. What else do we have that's new? Yeah, that's it. And then I still have 7 more slots. Yeah, we got a lot of emotes here, and we will get more because I really like making emotes. And I'm very self-indulgent and enjoy having emotes for Discord. Yeah, good things. Yeah, nonsense. Here. Jane's umbrella blew inside out and lifted her up from the ground. "I'll send you a postcard," she said with a shout, "when I know where I am, when I'm found." She just up and away. Whee! Oh, here's more Sprocket. I skipped Sprocket earlier. We'll do that next time I read this for y'all. I'll wanna do bedtime stories for you guys. Yeah, this is how I would read this book before as well. Just keep looking through the different pictures. Read bedtime stories for Heka too. Yeah. The Dragon of Wantley. Yeah. Okay. The other one was a sea monster. It didn't count. Alright. Yeah, counter for the monster fucker counter. Alright. The Dragon of Wantley. The Dragon of Wantley lay sleeping in his rocky den. From time to time, a puff of smoke came floating from his bright green nostrils, but apart from that, he was completely still. The only noise came from the dragon's pet white mouse, Wilfred, who was putting coal on the fire to make a hot breakfast for the dragon. The entrance to the dragon's coal mine stood nearby. As soon as the fire was glowing hot, Wilfred seized a gray goose's feather and began to tickle the dragon's nose.
"Time to wake up, master,"
he called. With a great fiery sneeze, the Dragon of Wantley woke up. He yawned a little, stretched his legs, and flapped his great wings. "Is it breakfast time, Wilfred?" he asked, sniffing the smoke from the fire.
"Yes, master. Eat up while the coal is still hot."
The dragon began to tuck into the glowing coals with a hearty appetite. He liked hot coals for breakfast, dark, smoldering red. When he had finished, he went down to the stream for a long drink of water so that he would be able to make plenty of steam during the day. Finally, he reached for the morning paper, which Wilfred had laid out carefully for him on a rock. "Some old news, I suppose," he said, with another yawn. The newspaper contained many reports of battles between various kings who lived in the land. The dragon glanced at the reports without paying much attention to them. "I see the King of Noke has beaten the King of Bagby," he said. Wilfred did not answer because he was busy with a nice piece of cheese. Then the dragon's eye was caught by a small paragraph which told how a terrible deed had been done by the wicked Black Knight. Not content with stealing all the king's gold, the Black Knight had carried off the Princess of Stoke-Poges to his castle in the forest. At once the dragon began to read more carefully because he was a kindly dragon who was always rescuing princesses and restoring gold to kings who had lost it. "The princess," said the newspaper, "was on her way to be married to the Prince of Nether Stowey when the Black Knight rushed out of his castle and carried her off. The King of Stoke-Poges has offered a reward of half his kingdom to anyone who rescues the princess." "Half a kingdom," said the dragon to himself. "That is not much of a reward for rescuing a princess. But as I never ask for a reward, I suppose it doesn't matter." As soon as Wilfred had finished with his cheese, the dragon called out to him. "Wilfred," he said, "we are going to Stoke-Poges to rescue another princess. You'd better climb on my back."
"I hope she's beautiful,"
said Wilfred. "Of course she is," replied the dragon. "All princesses are beautiful." Wilfred ran along the dragon's scaly tail until he came to his favorite perch, just between the dragon's pointed ears.
"You can see him right there. Look at him. Look at him."
It's cute. With a great swish of his wings, the dragon rose into the air and set his course by the sun for Stoke-Poges. Below them, as they flew through the air, they could see the many towns and villages of England, all with their kings and castles. Some of the castles were being besieged, and in other places the kings were fighting each other with great armies. But the Dragon of Wantley flew steadily on his course through the sky. A great many people who were not fighting came out to see him go by, but as they had been taught that dragons did not exist, they refused to believe what they saw. At last, just after 1 o'clock, the dragon arrived at Stoke-Poges. They went straight to the castle to see the king, who was having his lunch. The dragon and Wilfred bowed below the royal throne. "I have come to rescue the princess and restore your gold, sire," said the dragon. The king looked extremely pleased. Thank you, my boy, he said. I hope you will have some lunch first. Certainly, sire, replied the dragon. I'll have a little fresh coal, if I may. My mouse would like some cheese, if you have any. The king clapped his hands. Yes, it's reading the newspaper. The Dragon of Wantley is reading the newspaper. See? As I struggle once again. Yeah, look at him. He's a literate dragon. And then there's also cute little mouse. The king clapped his hands. Immediately, the royal servants brought in 100 sacks of coal and a huge block of cheese for the guests. While they ate, the king explained the way to the Black Knight's castle. If you take the road into the forest, said the king, you will see the Black Knight's castle on the left as you go past the 1000th oak tree. Knock on the gate and state your business. He will then come out to fight with you, and may the best man win. Thank you, sire, said the dragon. I will be on my way now, if I may. By all means, my boy, said the king. I will see you to the door. Wilfred climbed back between the dragon's ears, and they left the castle, taking the forest road as instructed. Let us both count the oak trees, said the dragon, to make sure we do not miss the castle. They set off through the forest. At the 1000th oak tree, the dragon stopped. How many oak trees have you counted? He asked. 864, replied Wilfred. I see, said the dragon. I'd better begin again. They went back to the edge of the forest and began to count again. For the second time, they counted differently, and once more they went back to the beginning. The third time they managed to agree on the 1000th oak tree, and there, sure enough, was the castle on the left. The dragon marched up to it boldly and knocked at the gate. Who goes there? Cried a gruff voice. The Dragon of Wantley. I have come to rescue the Princess of Stoke Poges and return the gold you have stolen from her father. Wait there a moment while I fetch my armor, answered the gruff voice. After a delay of about 10 minutes, the Black Knight charged over the drawbridge of his castle on a magnificent black horse. He lowered his lance and began to gallop towards the dragon, who knew exactly how to deal with a situation like this. When the knight was almost as close enough to touch, the dragon let out a small flame with a big puff of smoke. At once, the knight pulled up in amazement. Where is your lance? He shouted. I cannot fight you unless you have a lance, or at least a sword. For reply, the Dragon of Wantley simply let out a long stream of flame. This is disgraceful, shouted the knight. Fight properly or not at all. Once again, the dragon let out a flame. Then he made a terrible roar, which frightened the knight's horse. The horse ran away, taking the knight with him. Well done, master, said Wilfred. He will not return yet. I don't understand why he was so frightened of me, said the dragon. I would never hurt him, no matter how many princesses he had captured. They went into the castle and found the dungeon where the princess was kept. The dragon burnt down the door with a long flame, and out stepped the princess. To their amazement, she was not beautiful at all. In fact, she was fat and rather ugly with ordinary brown hair. However, the dragon bowed low just the same. Story? You're stupid. She's still cute. She's still cute. I have come to save you from the Black Knight, he said. There was no need to bother, replied the princess. I do not want to be rescued at all. If I am rescued, I shall have to marry that horrid prince of Nether Stowey. Please let me stay here. The dragon could see that the fat princess would cry if he carried her back to the king, so he decided to leave her with the Black Knight after all. Would you like me to rescue your father's gold? He asked. No, thank you, she replied. It's not real gold. It's only painted wood. My father would never let anyone steal his real gold. The dragon gave a low bow and left the castle. Wilfred settled down comfortably between his ears, and the two set off for home. I shall think twice before I rescue another princess, said the dragon. In fact, I don't think I shall even read the newspaper for weeks and weeks. What is more, the dragon of Wantley kept his word. He always did. Father went listening with something really cool with the love still his daughter. Yeah. Clearly he was trying to marry her off to get rid of her. This one's another cute story. His hat gets to go round and round. Oh, more Sprocket. Sprocket on his head. Jumping frogs. Like, man. There's a part of me that kind of has this art style as like goals. It slaps pretty hard. And the paint. Jumping frogs. There was a young frog who would not jump. He had to go to the doctor about it. Good stuff. A nice little preview. Stairs. Chuffa's moon trip. Also the engines. Chuffa and the bandit. Oh no, there's a bandit. Froggies. Look at all those frog emotes. Those are wonderful. Oh, I like this one too. Can you see a bias towards creature stories? We've had the wedding. Diffie! Diffie the duck! Oh, cute! And the mouse! Gotta get some real monster stories, yeah. Fly away, Terry. Oh, it's a terry cloth. Terry towel. Ugh. That's a little horrifying. like the sheep are cute. But this towel. I think there's also this one over here. Like, God, just imagine. I have the emote slots for it. I could turn this into an emote. Sprocket on holiday. Tom Giant. Amanda and animals. I'm really sleepy. Very short hecka stream today. But you know what? If you need it again, you can. Really short. Still 2 hours.
I think I would explode if I did a stream that was less than an hour. I think I would actually just spontaneously catch fire. Let's see, let's see. I think I'm gonna take us over to I'm gonna go to one of my animal cam streams. Do we want ducks or cats? I'll actually go ahead and give them both a shout out. Got Dash Ducks and Mukomaro. There we go. That should be correct. Yeah. So I'll go off in 2 minutes. But yeah, this has been lovely. I will absolutely read bedtime stories again. We will be back here for a normal Heka stream Sunday. I think I want the ducks. But if you want the cats, you can go over and hang out with the kitty cats. Yeah. Much more calming. Yeah. It's the cat the cat cam is a Japanese cat cafe. And so it's just a 24/7 cat cafe, and so it's midday right now over there, whereas Dash Ducks and Our Chicken Life are both nighttime because they're in the States. But yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna maybe get a snack. Ah, there we go. There's the shout out. Thank you guys so much for being by. So we're gonna be going to Dash Ducks. Brain flat. I'm gonna go to sleep. Yeah, we'll do that. We got, you know, socials. If you want to follow me on socials, you can go to my card or find any of those links. Want to join the Discord server? We've got that. If you would like to join our public Minecraft server, there are pinned instructions in a role-gated channel that you can get for yourself via reaction roll in the information channel if you join. Yeah. Sunday, again, things will be back to normal. I'll have everything turned back on. Yeah, thank you again for being here. Have a wonderful wonderful night. Bye-bye. 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 Night-night.